Hi, it's Ann from the Olive Scene, and thank you for joining me for my makeup video from Facebook Live, which I missed because I lost my voice. It was very hard to do Facebook Live without any voice. So I wanted to get this recipe in so we could get it on our website because we are not done with patio dining, picnics, and grilling. Even though we're heading into September, we still have lots of wonderful days in Ohio, and I love this potato salad. It uses our August flavor of the month, which was the smoked olive wood. I love this oil. It has all the nuances of fresh pressed extra virgin olive oil with a little hint of smokiness. And that smokiness comes from natural olive wood. It is not like an artificial liquid smoke. They use natural olive wood, run the olive oil through a smoker with the wood. It's beautiful. This potato salad is going to be one of your favorites. We're also going to use red wine vinegar or Sherry Reserva. I'm going to use the Sherry Reserva because we're having a great big roast pork tonight, so I want great big flavor. The red wine vinegar will be a little more subtle. Sherry Reserva is big and bold, so that's what I'm going to use. I am going to show you the reason why you go to a farmer's market during this time: fresh produce. If you've never had a fresh, homegrown Ohio potato, go get one. When I make potato salad, you can do it two ways. You can either boil this whole and then chop it. But what I find is by the time the center is at the right consistency, sometimes the outside is a little overdone and mushy. So I chop it first. But as everyone knows, when you're chopping potatoes, it can be pretty rough as you're getting through that potato. Not with a fresh potato. This is a fresh raw potato, and it cuts. It's still very crispy. It's not soft, but it cuts beautifully. The skin is thin. It is worth going. Go find some homegrown potatoes. This is a Yukon Gold. The skin is very thin, so I did not remove the skin. If your skin is thicker, it's more of a baking kind of potato, this recipe will work, but you may want to peel that first so that you don't have a hard skin in your potato salad. My potatoes have already boiled. I brought them to a boil and then a simmer, so they are fork tender and they're still warm. So I want to do this really quick before I get into making the dressing for this, because this part goes while the potatoes are warm. This is 2.5 pounds of potatoes. And now into that is going to go, where's my tablespoon? I lost it. Oh, there it is. Into that is going to go 2 tablespoons of either the red wine or Sherry Reserva vinegar. The rest of it is going to be for making the vinaigrette that's going to go over this, or the dressing that's going to go over this. So I'm just going to turn that over. One, it stops the potatoes from drying out, and also the potatoes absorb that vinegar and give them a nice little bite. This potato salad does not use mayonnaise at all, but because we are making it with a mustard, it will be creamy and it will have great big flavor. So you don't always have to use mayonnaise, and you don't always have to have a pure vinegar potato salad like a German potato salad. This is kind of a cross between the two. We will make it, it will be a creamy dressing that's going on there. And if you use a blender, it will even emulsify and get thicker. I'm going to hand whisk it with this great little whisking jar, which I know I've showed you before. One of the other things I did want to tell you is about the eggs. When you make hard-boiled eggs, I went to the expert, my neighbor Pat. She makes the best and most beautiful deviled eggs, and they're never that green rim that sometimes you can get on a hard-boiled egg. So this is how I did it. The whole egg went into a pot. I covered the eggs on the bottom in one layer with about 1 inch of water. Put it on the stove, came to a boil. The minute it came to a big hard boil, I turned off the stove, put a lid on it, and let it sit there for 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how done you want. These ones, because I only had 3 eggs in there, I did it for the 10 minutes. And as you can see, They are beautiful, nice and yellow inside, as we like them for a potato salad, for deviled eggs. So into a pot of water, cover it, a single layer of eggs, cover it with 1 inch of water, bring it to a boil. The minute it's at a hard boil, turn it off, leave it on the stove, cover it 10 minutes, then take it off the stove and put cold water into it until the eggs are cool enough to handle. And then you can peel them, and they're beautiful. So I have those eggs, and I did them, and I chopped them. So they're ready to go. The potato salad is sitting, so I'm gonna make the dressing. We always start every dressing, every vinaigrette with the vinegar. The vinegar is going in. Then I'm gonna put my seasonings in so they can soften. I'm going to use, you can use any sea salt. I'm going to use our French Picnic sea salt. This is an amazing product. It comes to us from beautiful briny sea. It's gonna be a teaspoon. And this French Picnic is amazing. It has sea salt. It has a little bit of garlic, some thyme, some lavender, a little bit of dry mustard. So it's a beautiful little sea salt. Lends itself to these potatoes, wonderful. They also have another one called Magic Unicorn, and that has some different seasonings in it, paprika and other things. Any of them will work. If you have a favorite seasoned salt, that will also work. I'm gonna just give this a little swirl because I want that sea salt to dissolve. Also going in is about a half a teaspoon of pepper, freshly ground, 3 tablespoons of mustard. Again, any Dijon mustard will do. I am using another one of our fabulous products, and this is a champagne dill mustard. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So the olive scene, while we're known for oils and vinegars, don't forget we have lots of other great products. Check out our website. I'm going to whisk this up. I can hear that the salt is now dissolved and the mustard is incorporated very well. So the last thing to go in, that's why I like this wonderful little pitcher, because it's angled in, it doesn't splatter. It's also heavy enough that I can whisk while I'm drizzling. This is the key to a very well emulsified, which means it's incorporated, but also thickened vinaigrette. So I've had people call a store that say, oh my gosh, my vinaigrette has turned into mayonnaise. And I will say to them, did you do it in a blender? It's very hard to do it by hand. But in a blender, if you over blend it or blend it too high, you can actually cause this to emulsify so thick that it is almost like mayonnaise. And we want it to be like a soft mayonnaise for this, because we want it to cling to the potatoes and create a nice potato salad. Okay, that's really good. So you will see this when I pour it out. This is ready to go. You can let this sit. You can make this an hour, a day, 2 days beforehand. Just store it in the refrigerator. Let it come to room temperature and then whisk it up again. Back to the potatoes. I have my potatoes. All of that vinegar, those 2 tablespoons, has been absorbed by the potatoes, which is lovely. I have 2 chopped stalks of celery, and I did them on a very fine dice because I like when I have a bite of potato salad that I'll get a little bit of celery and onions and things with it, and if they're too big, they won't cling to the potatoes. I did the same thing with half of a red onion, about the same size dice. It's pretty fine. And mix that in. Now the other thing is half a cup of chopped parsley. I went out, I thought, oh, I need to get some from the store because I have it growing in my garden, but I think a little rabbit got to me. So I have no parsley. Instead, I did have a flat of microgreens, which I picked up from Caring Corral. Call them. You will also help a good cause because every flat of microgreens that is sold goes to helping the corral that takes in horses for people with special needs to ride, which is wonderful. So I have this wonderful spicy microgreen. It's called Spice Mix. I'm going to use that, which is going to be lovely, instead of parsley. You can, again, put in whatever you have in your garden. If you have basil, if you have thyme, because I chopped these earlier, they want to stick. If you have thyme, if you have basil, parsley, if you like kind of a Mexican flair, you can put in some cilantro. There we go. Okay, that's ready to go. One last thing is, I did not, this bowl that I'm mixing in, because it gets a little messy when you put the vinaigrette on here. And you can either wipe down the sides if you're gonna serve it, but because I'm gonna serve this tonight and we're having some people over, I am gonna use a second bowl, nice bowl for serving. And again, Olive Scene, great products. So hop in there. My vinaigrette is ready. Oh, almost forgot. Eggs. Eggs are going in. I think I have everything. Let me make sure. Yes, I do. Okay, there we go. Turn these over gently so you don't smash the eggs too much. And the vinaigrette, I'm gonna give it one more. Remember, when we hand whisk, this is called a temporary emulsion. If you do it in a blender, it'll stay together for good. When you do it by hand, the mustard will help hold it together, but it may separate a little bit. Once it's in as the potato salad, it won't. Now, I don't want it overly dressed, so I'm going to do just about half. Turn it over and see where I'm at. Very easy to add more, very difficult to take it away. Now, because this wasn't live, if you have any questions about anything I have done here today or of our products, please email us. You can call a store, you can message on Facebook, or on the next Facebook Live, just throw one in there and say, hey, I watched the video and can you answer this live? Because Facebook Live for September is coming up. Okay, so how do we know if it's enough vinaigrette? Very simply, we taste. And if I had a fork here, I'd grab a fork. But we're gonna taste. Perfect. Okay, I do not need any more vinaigrette on this. I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator, let it get cool. It's good room temperature, but, excuse me. It's good room temperature, but I like it chilled. When I pull it back out, I'm gonna taste it again. If everything has absorbed into the potatoes, I have more vinaigrette to add to it. As it is right now, it tastes beautiful. But believe it or not, those potatoes will absorb some of that vinaigrette. So you may want to add a little bit more right before you serve it. And there you have it. I'm gonna put it in my serving bowl. Wow, is that absolutely delightful. That little bit of smokiness and the microgreens, give it a little bit of spice. The mustard, everything, the seasoned salt, everything came together absolutely beautifully. This is a flavor sensation for a potato salad. Pick up your ingredients from the Olive Scene and don't forget to grab a great bowl while you're there and make yourself some potato salad. Enjoy. See you at the next Facebook Live.